I'm Paul Zigo. This is Cinema for Cynics, joined once again by Chauncey, who requested that he be moved farther away from me for the next shoot, so hope you're happy now, Chauncey. You know, sometimes when the crypt just isn't scary enough, you need to get all your tales from somewhere harder, somewhere meaner, somewhere infinitely more gangster. Yeah, that's right, the hood, where every multiple homicide comes with a lesson, a message, or both. Tales from the Hood seeks to scare you while raising your social awareness over the course of 4 short stories about life in the hood and the supernatural intersecting. Does it succeed at either? Well, let's break it down. The 4 short films are all tied together by the overarching story. 3 gangstas head over to a funeral home where rumor has it that the crazy funeral director there has found some shit. What kind of shit? Drugs and shit.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You get it when we get the shit.
The shit. The shit. Drugs. You get the drugs, then I get the money.
Kill that noise, man. Let's just get the shit.
You'll get the shit. You'll be knee deep in the shit.
He's willing to sell his newfound stash to the gangsters, but not before he tells them the stories of some of the corpses he has lying around. The first tale the mortician weaves is called Rogue Cop Revelation, or Racism is Bad, Part 1, if you prefer my naming scheme. A black rookie cop named Clarence witnesses a bunch of racist old white cops beat the shit out of this burgeoning civil rights leader named Martin Morehouse. He's convinced to keep his mouth shut about the beating, and he does, only to learn that later on that night, the racist cops kill Morehouse to cover up their misdeeds. Clarence is driven mad with guilt, he quits the force, becomes a homeless wino. In his alcohol-induced stupor, he begins to hear the voice of the dead man asking him to bring the crooked cops to his grave.
Bring them to me.
I will.
You can probably guess what happens next, and that's a theme with this movie as it loves to telegraph the entirety of a story before it even begins. The rookie cop lures the racist to the grave at night, and Martin Morehouse's zombie exacts his revenge. There are some cool scenes in the final minutes of this story as the zombie chases the crooked cops around the city, but I'm not sure it ever reaches the level of scary. I mean, to be honest, I'm not even sure scary is what this movie was really aiming for in the first place. At any rate, the evil racists are punished, and even Clarence isn't spared the wrath of the zombie, as he ends up in a mental institution charged with the cop killings we see committed by the zombie. Guess he should have stepped up when he was needed. Message, anyone?
Message!
After a brief interlude back at the funeral parlor, we're given our next story. Boys do get bruised, or domestic violence is bad, as I like to call it. In this story, an attractive black school teacher, Mr. Garvey, becomes concerned when he sees bruises on a little boy in his class. When he's asked, the boy says a monster attacked him. He even draws the monster as this big, veiny green Hulk-looking thing. It's obvious from the get-go that the monster is, in fact, an abusive boyfriend of his mother's. Mr. Garvey pays a visit to the family to discuss his concerns, and he witnesses the domestic violence firsthand. When he tries to intercede, the monster, played by David Alan Grier of all people, almost kills everyone. That is, until the little boy decides to crumple up the picture he drew. The payoff is hilarious, as the abusive father figure is turned into a crumpled fucking pretzel before our eyes, talking shit the whole time. Again, not scary, but funny as hell. Our third tale is called KKK Comeuppance, or Racism is Bad, Part 2. This one is easily my favorite of the bunch. See, Duke Metger is a racist Southern congressman who's up for re-election. He decides to move his campaign headquarters to an old, former slave plantation, drawing the ire of every black person in the area. One of the protesters babbles on about an ancient hoodoo curse, and we see this mural of an old black lady surrounded by dolls on a wall in the plantation house. Of course, Congressman Duke insults the picture, prompting the dolls depicted in it to come to life and start wreaking havoc. When a doll comes to life, it disappears from the mural, setting up the most hilarious finale of all time. I mean, TJ and I watched this movie recently with our girlfriends, and the entire room cracked up at the end when the old lady herself disappears from the mural and appears in her fucking rocking chair to silently watch the dolls finish off the racist. It's incredibly cheesy, but so incredibly funny at the same time that I can't bring myself to shit on it too much. Our final tale is the weirdest, called Hardcore Convert, or if you prefer, A Clockwork Orange. It follows a gangsta named Crazy K, of course, who's almost killed in a gang shootout. In prison, he's offered this opportunity to be released early if he undergoes rehabilitation, meant to psychologically change him into a model citizen. Sound familiar at all?
Get me up. I want to be sick.
Whatever. Anyway, Crazy K is forced to face his misdeeds in the form of visions of all the people he's killed. In turn, we, the audience, have to sit through a long montage juxtaposing historical images of blacks being lynched and more modern images of gang violence. In the end, Crazy K lashes out at the visions, and we learn that the entire sequence was a dream. Really? Just an elaborate fantasy as he lies dying on the sidewalk? He doesn't even learn anything as he dies yelling, "I don't give a fuck," at the visions haunting him.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
As we learn in the finale, though, I guess the lesson wasn't really for Crazy K anyway. So, we've seen our 4 stories. Do the gangstas in the mortuary ever get the shit? Yeah, they do. They get all the shit they can handle when the over-the-top mortician reveals that, dun dun dun, he's the devil. His transformation into Satan keeps with the film's combo of gore and comedy, and you'll almost certainly laugh your ass off. I honestly think you're meant to. Look, this isn't that great of a movie. It hasn't aged well at all, and it's burdened by its message-heavy plot and inconsistent tone. It is, in essence, a long morality tale, clearly aimed at younger black folks, an edgier after-school special, if you will. But taking all that into account, I still had fun watching Tales from the Hood again. I laughed out loud more than a few times, whether I was meant to or not, and I found a few scenes that stuck with me far after the credits rolled. The depiction of Satan in the movie is simultaneously one of the worst things I've ever seen and one of the funniest. If you're not a fan of cheesy horror, stay away. But if you like to chuckle with your over-the-top gore, you'll find a lot to be had in Tales from the Hood. So watch it. And if you don't subscribe to this channel, the old hoodoo witch will sick her fucking dolls on you to bite your fucking ankles off. And if you don't like this video, you'll never ever get the shit. You want the shit? Hit the like.
Let's just get the shit first.
Shit.
Thanks.